Tom, I was asking David Hertel about this earlier. I've heard people sort of reacting to this both ways. I'm speaking about that part of Mark Carney's address yesterday to the Economic Club in New York,
right,
where he said this.
At a time of a global energy crisis, Canada provides the United States with reliable power, with critical minerals that help fuel American growth. That is mutual strength. Let's be absolutely clear. Canada Strong will help make America great again.
So listen, my first reaction was, I thought that was fantastic. I asked David, he thought that. I know people today, as I heard some people on Vashti's show today, suggested, that's very dangerous territory. He's giving in again. What do you make of all this?
I'm with you. I just thought it was having a lot of fun poking the bear. So you're making us find other markets and develop our resources faster than we otherwise would have, and we're going to get richer on this, despite the fact that we are indeed in a recession. And guess what? This is going to be good for the whole continent, including you guys. And as soon as the guy with the orange face is gone from the White House, we can get back to having a proper relationship.
So much ado about nothing as far as you're concerned?
No, I thought the speech was good. It was the continuation in different terms and a different tone of the famous Davos speech that he gave in January, where, he laid it out. He said, look, things aren't going to go back to normal with the Americans anytime soon, so we've got to adapt to it. And he was saying that to the Americans, but he was also reminding them that we're longtime partners. We've been working together for centuries, and that's going to continue. All
right, let me get to, you kind of just mentioned it now. Technically, we found out today, real GDP numbers means we're in a technical recession, although
Aaron,
from what I hear, it's...
Man,
sorry?
I'm totally with Poiliev on this, okay?
Okay.
Stop the BS about technical recession. There's a definition of a recession. We're in a recession, period, full stop. And yes, it's very rough on families, and yes, we have high unemployment. So let's stop trying to assuage this situation using words like technical recession. Canada is in a recession, period.
That said, Tom, Statistics Canada paints a mixed picture in the economy. We know it's not working. We know it's bad based on what's happening now, of course, in parts of the Middle East. I understand what you're saying. Are you making this to be worse than it actually is, or is a recession as far as you're concerned?
A recession's bad. It means the economy's not working well. 2 quarters in a row, negative growth, definition, recession. And it's a sign that things are not going well. We're already trying to be told on spin, on background, the numbers for April are going to be better, the second quarter is going to be better. Fine. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we're in really difficult situation. Look at the unemployment numbers here for Quebec. And if they continue to get worse, and they could, because they've been really bad for Quebec, we've been hit particularly hard. All of Canada is concentrated on the auto sector, Ontario, the steel sector, the forestry. That's in a bunch of different provinces, but in particular in BC. We've been hit hard in forestry as well. But nobody talks in the rest of Canada, because I do tons of media in the ROC, as we lovingly call it. Nobody talks about aluminum. We're getting pummeled. Not by the big smelters and their ability to sell their product, but all the smaller companies. These products go into other things that they're making, like ATVs that Bombardier makes, and then all of a sudden they're getting clobbered at the border. So we've lost tens of thousands of jobs in successive reports since Christmas, and it's a really serious concern for us here in the province. We should acknowledge that.
I will point out, if I heard the speech right yesterday, he actually talked about the aluminum situation here, right, and tried to explain,
he does. Yeah,
right?
Sure. He's the prime minister. He knows the aluminum situation. But what I mean is, generally speaking, when you're with a bunch of people on a panel and they're talking about stuff, aluminum never comes up.
Yeah. All right, I want to go to something we've talked about a couple of times now. Christine Frechette getting caught a bit off guard earlier this week after coming off a pretty solid week the week before.
A pretty solid 6 weeks.
Yeah. And you kind of have to wonder, this is the fact she's not been premier ever before. Does she get a pass for this?
She doesn't get a complete pass because people are really watching. And, everybody likes what they see with Frechette. The numbers are good. The polling is great. She's really pulled off an amazing feat of dragging the CAQ out of, the cemetery where they were. I mean, they'd already been given the last rites. And, all of a sudden they're back in contention. So that's already a political miracle. But she's human. And, she is, we do see her, deservedly so, as a first-of-class type character. And so when she sat there, and this is a reminder for anybody who's ever watched politics or watched Question Period or anything like that, you don't score with a long-winded question. Buzz St. Pierre Plamondon would just chat on and listen to his own voice as he tried to ask his questions. He didn't score. André Fortin, one of the best M&As in Quebec City, simple question, what's the province's overall debt?
Yeah.
And she repeated the question, basically imploring her staff to come up with a number quickly. It would have taken exactly 6 seconds to find it. You know, if you'd gone online, you understood that she had surrounded herself with the exact wrong people. This exercise, which is called in French, la défense des crédits. So you're defending your spending estimates. They're basically looking at the budget for your ministry. So the Prime Minister has a ministry, a secretariat of the Executive Council. So you've got your staff and you've got your budgets, and she's like everybody else got to talk about it. But since it's the Premier, you get to ask her any question in the world. And then the other one that stumped her was about something that she somehow missed. This one was more surprising to me. Not knowing a single figure like that out of the blue, that doesn't really bother me. You got people for that. But the other one, she had no idea that the CAC had added 1% to our bills for our home insurance and our car insurance. Well, I don't know about you, but in my case, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. And then you add a 1% to that, and then they're thumping their chests about how good they are because they took $50 off our registration fees. Stop robbing from Peter to pay Paul. Stop increasing our taxes, which is exactly what they did with insurance to fill up the government coffers. So you kind of have to feel a little bit of sympathy for Eric Girard, who, gee whiz, funny how that happened, is his email to the Premier saying, would you please stop spending money we don't have, caused a bit of embarrassment. But he was, of course, right, but, of course, wrong to send it. And let's just say that inquiring minds want to know where it came from, and my money is on somebody very close to Mr. Girard.
Tom, why was he wrong to send it?
Well, you talk to the Premier. You pick up the phone. And you don't put something like that in writing so that some schmuck down the line can say, yeah, this is really hurting our image and our ministry because we're doing as much as we can in finance, so let's just leak it. I mean, come on. And you don't put it in writing. Yeah. I tried to drill this into the heads of the people that I was with when I was leader of the opposition, people around us. I said, hey, imagine that every one of your emails is a yellow Post-it on the refrigerator that anybody can read. And so are you going to send it, or are you going to pick up the phone and talk to somebody or go have a meeting with them? You don't have to. But younger people, everything's done by text, mostly today. Back then it was text and email about evenly. And they just they're like deer in the headlights. What do you mean we shouldn't send it? You shouldn't send it because it's got a permanent record, and if it's something confidential, go talk to somebody. Stop putting it in writing.
Last thing really quick. I want to get your take on Mark Carney, the 50% plus one, referencing Alberta and, of course, by extension, Quebec, about a vote like that with Parliament having the final say, which basically, as we often say, set everyone's hair on fire in Quebec. So I'm going to have Fred Berard on. He's a constitutional lawyer in about 10 minutes from now, along with a Bloc MP as well. What do you make of this? Because, of course, it was followed by a vote in the National Assembly, basically confirming that in Quebec, it's 50 plus one. Did he step in it by bringing this up again?
Yeah. Speaking of stepping in it, I mean, somebody plops down a nice, dog pancake on your front porch. You do not have to step in it. And it was such bad staff work because Carney is Carney. What's his priority? What's his game plan? He's there for the economy. He wants to build the economy back up, wants to develop our resources faster. That's his vision, and he explains it very well, and he's doing that job 1 year into it. All of a sudden, he's got to talk this constitutional stuff. So unlike anything you've ever seen him do before, he's holding a piece of paper in his hand. Mark Carney doesn't need pieces of paper, generally speaking, but in this case, he obviously was told, read this. So he starts reading out stuff with an embellishment from the Clarity Act. So if you go back to the Supreme Court opinion, because it's not even a decision, the opinion on secession that was rendered in August 1998, if you read that carefully, it says two things. It says you need clarity. You need clarity that is objective and subjective. So what does that mean? Well, they say that you need qualitative clarity and quantitative clarity. Qualitative what? Well, don't cheat like they did in Chamonix, stealing 5,246 votes in my riding. I know about cheating. I know what happens. And so when you have that sort of rule, you're saying the whole thing has to be on the up and up. But nowhere in that decision does it say it's more than 50 plus one. And by the way, nowhere in the Clarity Act does it say that it's more than 50% plus one. And there's a danger to playing that game, because if all of a sudden you're just leaving it out there that it takes a lot more, which is what he said, a lot more than 50% plus one, without ever saying what the number is. This is a game you and I know about because we had it during the debate with Trudeau. But if you're going to play that game, then you've got to be able to put up a number. If you don't have a number, go home. And the other thing is, too, it's so dangerous. If there is a referendum and people are told, don't worry about it, no matter what the number is, the feds are going to say no, but let's send a strong message. This is the Danielle Smith ploy that they're going through in Alberta right now. Let's send a strong message. Let's vote for sovereignty, and then maybe Ottawa will get off our backs. Well, it's a dangerous game. And I don't know who wrote that piece of paper. I don't know who put that piece of paper into Prime Minister Carney's hands, but they deserve to have their rear ends kicked because now he's on the hook. Now, it's not that it caused the reaction in Quebec. It's a question of, well, what's the rest of the game plan? So what is your number and how does it play out? And it's a real mess that he's gotten himself into. And there were 150 ways for him to simply turn things around, not answer specifically on that, and certainly not start saying something that's going to come back to haunt him.
So
what happened?
I'm going to help him by you saying, what should he have said, Tom? How do you avoid stepping on that mine? What do you say?
Well, you have to just say, look at what the Clarity Act says. This is our reaction to what happened in Quebec in 1995. That's our position.
Okay. Go
read the Act and read what it says, and read the Supreme Court opinion of August 1998. Sit down. And then if you push, stand up, say, well, the Supreme Court always insisted that we needed clarity on two fronts. One is qualitative, how the thing is run, and the other is quantitative. And by the way, qualitative includes a clear question. Right. And we will be having a word to say about that. That's safe territory for him. And then he sits down. But the minute he says it's more than 50% plus one, then the question is, oh yeah, what is it? 58?
Right.
52? 65?
Got it.
That's the game that you wanted to avoid, and he didn't avoid it.
Hope he's listening. Tom Mulcair, Tom, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
iHeartRadio is throwing it back.
2010s, the decade.
To the days of huge hits and unforgettable anthems. A non-stop stream of the biggest and best.
Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy, Gaga, The Weeknd,
and more. All your decade-defining favorites, all in one place.
Hi, it's Katy Perry.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
This is Kesha.
Find 2010's The Decade on the free iHeartRadio app. Preset the station so it's always one tap away.